Thank you, Nomad. That's right, Aurora. One game down in this series, looking at potentially heading down to the lower bracket when your backs are against the wall. So many times, this squad goes back to the 23 Savage Morphling. In fact, they did this last TI when they had elimination on the line against a very tough BB team. In Game 3, what did they go to, Avery?
Morphling?
That's right, the 23 Savage Morphling.
Oh.
When they need a win, that's what they go to. Unfortunately, in that situation, that was
they
also...
They didn't win that game, did they?
They didn't win that game. No.
I vaguely remember. That's like, I don't know if that's a good game to bring up here, but I mean, he is the self-proclaimed best Morphling in the world. Yeah,
it's his most prolific hero. They have a very good win rate on it. But on the other side, we have one of my personal favorites. No one was always a beast on Storm Spirit. Back when it was him and Sumail as the 1 and 2 best mids in the world, one link they shared was that they were both monsters on the Storm Spirit. So I'm looking forward to see how No One performs in this game.
He's level 30 on it as well. One of his signature heroes, absolutely. This man likes to be able to jump everywhere, style with some disjoints. He's going to be trying to look for this Omni Knight probably in the fight, unless you're just at an overwhelming point where you can break through the front line. And if you can take that save out of the engagement, then this lineup really kind of breaks apart for Aurora because, like somebody mentioned, I think they are out-aura'd in this game. Like, Centaur is not going to be able to match Underlord in terms of boosting up his other cores, which could come back to haunt them a bit in the 5-on-5s if the Morphling and SF aren't independent enough in the team fight. That's where Omni Knight can boost those cores up and really help them take the engagement. But if the Omni Knight's getting jumped, if he's getting hookshot, rocket flared, if the Storm Spirit's on top of him, if the Wind Ranger gets to the back line with a Whirlwind, you fear for how much sustain and, frontline capabilities the Aurora lineup necessarily has. So Stampede can help with that. And of course, you can always just get the jump first with the Bat Rider. That's the flip side. Like, if you can use this Bat to find the Tinker, take some of the sustain out of Cloud9's lineup, then they maybe suffer the same issue.
We made kind of an adjustment meta-wise from, like, big-time auras. Like, everybody had to do auras, and that decreased a little bit. But what really came up in the last few weeks leading into TI was these healing supports.
That's a big deny. Sorry.
Not the hype denies, please. The healing supports. That's been like
another big one. He didn't get that one.
So
I mean, this is the lane right here. This is the Morphling Underlord lane. It comes down to range denies.
That's true. That's true. All right, you want to keep talking about
continue.
Denies? No? Are you sure?
Continue with your point.
Healing supports. Why is that the meta now? It's been a while since that was a thing, but now we've got Treant Protector, Omni Knight everywhere. Tinker was big meta for a while. That was just plain broken. Now it's been nerfed back to a little bit more reasonable point. Why is this a thing now? Why hasn't it always been a thing?
I think the healers got buffed.
Okay.
The heroes are just better. I think people are still in this mindset of if you can make your heroes invincible or extremely tanky, whatever that method is, it makes the game a lot easier to play, makes the team fights a lot easier to play, right? You just put this guy on the front line, he can't die. I mean, it's pretty simple, puts a lot of pressure on the enemy, and it helps you go high ground ultimately. Like, sustain is a mechanic that lets you push, helps you do Roshan, helps you go high ground. Those were issues for some of the lineups and some of the past metas, so these heroes just feel good to play with as long as their laning is okay, but that's a big component, right? If you look at heroes like Omni Knight, one of the things that's plagued him in competitive Dota is, like, can you actually lane with this hero and get a carry out of it in a decent position? That's the part that's been buffed a lot. So you're starting to see these heroes come back, Treant, similar position, and if you get away with them in the early game, they're just really strong in the mid game. They fit the Aura group up meta pretty well.
Yeah. We're going to see, obviously, with an Omni Knight on one side, Tinker on the other, a bit of that action. Meanwhile, the mid lane matchup seems to be going all right for both sides. A little bit more denies on the Storm Spirits, but Loradov is doing fine in CS, 22-1. He is topping out the board right now, which is just where you want to see your SF. Was this too greedy, Avery, for them to go for the SF? First of all, they're matched up against Clockwork, but also just you already had a Morphling. Did you need a Shadow Fiend on top of that?
It's a little awkward for sure. Like, only one of these heroes is going to get the benefit of the Omni Knight in a fight, right? And you kind of want it to be on both. Only one of them can carry an Aegis if you get later Roshans. Only one of them can go and hit the high ground. I feel like they're both heroes you would want the entire lineup to be focused around, and it's going to split a little of the resources and attention from this Aurora squad. But of course, if they feel like the SF can do well in the lane and in the early game and give you that extra damage threat in the fight, I could see it pay off, but he needs to have a really good game here. Like, this is not a game where the SF has 3 or 4 deaths, you're going to be happy. I don't know if that game exists for this hero, but it's definitely not this one. Because you were going to run into some auras in that mid game, and it's going to negate a lot of the Shadow Fiend's damage.
Now, are you assuming we're going to be seeing, like, this is a more TP rotations coming in. He already forced the Clockwork to try and rotate. Now it's the Tinker who TPs and then cancels the TP as Lorinov gets outside the range. So he is keeping the pressure on no one because he wants to get this kill or force the Storm Spirit out of lane before he gets 6. And it looks like he's managed to do that. No one's actually going to head back to the fountain. And so that'll give Lorinov a bit of an experience lead.
Raindrops for both heroes, but it was Aurora who were looking to deny Water Runes from the Storm and get one of those for this SF. He would have completely taken the lane over if that happened, but nice little Remnant play from no one, and the contested top rune means both heroes did not get a refill. And it shut down a little the aggression the SF was able to get, still forced them to base, though Cloud9 looking mid with this clock. I mean, this is kind of a hard go. Not a really good angle here for Fishman unless he can push the lane into the SF, but that's a little difficult.
Yeah.
That's a bold attempt. I respect it.
I'm not sure that I do, but that's fair.
I mean, again, you gotta implement some psychological warfare, you know, just set him up for later. Big
surprise! Get blood grenaded.
Yeah, maybe later he won't throw that blood grenade. Lorinov won't know what he's doing.
Well, he's certainly not going to be throwing the same blood grenade, as that is a consumable that is now gone.
If you can get these stacks into the SF, that could be a difference in this mid matchup. Like, push him ahead of the Storm, get him to... I don't know exactly what you're looking for this game. It'll be interesting to see if Lorinov goes more for like a tanky or right-click frontline, just, you know, damage-dealing SF, or if he wants to go for something like a Blink, Yules, Kaya, Yasha type deal, and maybe try and catch the Storm in the fights.
Jabs trying to fight his way out of the cogs. He has triple bracer plus a chainmail here, so he's pretty tanky to the physical damage, but the magic damage that is being provided by the Storm Spirit with the extra shield rune allows him to freely dive the tower.
7-minute wisdom.
And I think he was thinking about going for the wisdom rune, but ultimately he wouldn't have been able to do so as Lorinov has counter-rotated. On the other side of the map, he did have an attempt by Ollie to steal the wisdom rune. Katomi did manage to out-click him, though.
He's going to blind waveform? Nope. Feeling it. Interesting Morphling rotation, too. Wisdom runes get split, Omni goes down, but 22 Savage TPing top to try and bail that skirmish out off the Storm rotation, not the mid SF. It's this carry Morphling who makes the move. So now he has to gate back towards bottom. It's not terrible for him, but it is an interesting play. Like, he wants to get active in this game, make his presence felt, maybe relieve some of the pressure on the SF to have to move or stabilize this early game. Just let him play greedy, take the stacks. Lorinov did get a big boost out of that jungle. He's level 8 now.
This isn't going to be a magic damage SF.
Oh, he's going Dragonlance, so...
I assume when you had a Morphling, it meant that you were going to be playing more of that Blink, Kaya, Yasha build that has become more popular.
I mean, Yules is really good in this game. Like, first the Tinker dispels, you can Yules the Storm when he jumps in the fight, and then just stun him when he comes down. But it's not going to feel great later on the SF, like using that item slot for a utility item like that.
And I do think we saw the magic damage SF, like, really fall off.
Yeah.
It was very popular, but it did not seem to be able to close out games so many times.
I will say, this right-click SF in pubs is going ham. I think it's actually destroying a lot of pub games, and if you can play behind it, give him some sustain auras like Solar Crest Vlad's at some point, plus one other buff, he does go ham in the mid-game. This is a hero that can just end games, even in that 20 to 30 minute mark, if you really snowball. I don't think this is that type of game, but the hero has that potential, so I do think this is the better route for the hero at the moment. But it is a little greedier. You're going to need some more time to get both these cores online. Though, I mean, looking at this early game, I think Aurora are okay with this kind of position, just stabilizing the early game and getting their heroes up and running.
23 Savage is burning through his mana pool. It's the second time that he's gone through the gate and doesn't really find anything to do with it, so he comes back to the lane again. And DM's not even bothering. He's got the global rotation power, so if something does actually happen, he can gate to it. Meanwhile, he's cutting waves and being as efficient as possible, pulling them into neutral camps to double farm.
There's been a lot of stack clearing in this early game.
No one is also trying to be efficient, getting into the enemy jungle and taking away their stacks. Multiple of them.
Good work from both teams, actually. But we are pretty limited on early initiation power in this game.
Yeah.
Particularly Aurora. They can't really start ganks or little skirmishes. Your best tool is Stampede into, I don't know, Purifying Hammer. Like, I don't know really what.
Well, you could have said Stampede into Stomp, but,
yeah, but I mean, we're not going to see that. So.
Okay.
We are going to see some Ancient clearing for the smoke.
Yeah, using the smoke to make it so that the Ancients don't go anywhere when you put damage on them. It just makes it
going mid.
A little bit faster. Trying to go on Ollie here, but he's already propelled himself up.
Power Rune.
Power Rune is bottom lane. Arcane Rune for a Storm Spirit. The highest net worth hero in the game just got a big Power Rune to play with.
He's just going straight Orchid. Gonna be a very obnoxious item for both the Omni and the Morphling.
Instantly pops it, try and go for Ollie. Ollie, Stampede goes off, and that final bit of damage is not enough.
Well, he survives, burns out mana from the Storm. Stacks being cleared right now from Cloud9, so I don't think they're too sad about missing out, but no one's not finding early Galvanize stacks or any sort of momentum on the Storm in this game. As Watson back through the gate, I mean, he says, I can do that too.
I like how this has become such a norm that carries go through the gate to try and put pressure on the enemy, that it's not working. Both sides are aware that it's going to happen. Both sides have warded up their side of the gate, knowing that the enemy carry is going to be playing a bit of peekaboo.
I do like this Vlad's, by the way. I think the Vlad's on the Morphling here, it's a standard Morphling buildup, but it's really nice in this game because you have the SF to benefit as well.
Sure.
So it's just extra raw value here. I do think if you're Cloud9, you kind of want to get this 12-minute Power Rune on the Storm and ideally get to this Orchid and make a play. I don't know if that takes too long, though. It feels a little slow. They're going to refill him here. I mean, this might just be a slower game. There's not a lot of early initiation. Both teams kind of want to get stacks and abuse the efficiency, but I think that does play towards Aurora.
Yeah, I would agree with that for now, but I do think Cloud9's heroes, like, they also take advantage of it, right? Like, Tinker is super good as a support to be able to take advantage of these slower games because he's able to, you know, move to different parts of the map, farm up, stack up these neutrals like he's been doing. So Kataomi is going to get pretty big at this rate. You could already see he's 1,200 ahead of the opposing Batrider, another support that's usually good at farming.
And they do not have much for the Tinker outside of if the Bat finds him. It's kind of your best tool here.
Yeah.
I mean, Omni Knight can help you just kind of push through it, do similar things. But then it's a matter of, can you force objectives? Like, can you be the ones forcing the Roshan and make Cloud9 fight into you instead of the other way around? So, I don't know, man. I mean, you have 100 CS Morphling basically out of the laning phase. I mean, you have to be relatively happy with that.
Yeah. Jabs, triple bracer, and a blade mail. Meaning that he is just tough to get out of the lane. He's going to be able to farm a lot, and he's going to work towards his Blink Dagger as the next item.
Ganked up here.
Ollie trying to burst him down, not let him get off the repel, but he does manage to get off his full swing of abilities, and that ruins the initiation from Cloud9. The team fight goes against them initially, but with DM in the back end, does mean Aurora. Oh, they got him on the lasso. Can they kill him, though? Not with the barrier. Put out by the Tinker, and it's going to be Jabs who dies instead. Q, as well as 23 Savage, are still trying for it, but he had enough mana that no one is able to zip down the cliff. A fear goes out. Lornoff trying to blow up Watson. Not enough damage. The neutrals almost finish him off. He went down to like 2 HP. That was crazy close.
I honestly don't know if he would have mind dying to neutrals there, get the trip to base, but 23 had bailed on that fight after the Storm refilled his mana. Just not enough lockdown for no one. Not enough burst damage yet to commit on the lasso. Frustrating fight for Aurora if they brought everybody to that engagement, but Cloud9 using Gate to its max potential. Really nice pit, disjoints the fight, and able to get their cores out of there with some key kills. Continuing to power up this Tinker. I mean, you were talking about it, but now he is really pulling ahead. And Fishman, I mean, he's always on your Wisdom Runes.
He is always there. You got to prepare for it. And if he pops out and tries to hit him with the Cogs, he should be able to get the Wisdom Rune. Hits him with a hook shot instead. The Wisdom Rune is all his.
Big win. He's not even going to die for it, man.
Nope. TP rotation coming in from the 23 Savage Morphling,
I mean,
who gets pre-repelled.
It's another wasted TP unless you just want to push the tower.
Yeah.
And Aurora not finding a lot with their strength right now. And Cloud9 powering up all 4 cores. That Tinker is going to be a menace. He just got so much. He's just been farming Ancients the whole time. Like, this is disgusting. This is the Tinker of Pub Nightmares right here. he's higher net worth almost than your offlaner, and it only gets worse because he takes all this side lane random farm that no one else is going to take anyway, so it's just free extra gold. And you can't catch him. I mean, who is going to catch this Tinker this game?
It leaves Cloud9 with an opportunity to make moves like this. I cannot believe he got off that Strength Morph in time. Invis Storm Spirit comes up, but because they had a Ward Sentry combination, he got just that little bit of a glimpse of what was coming.
That's a big dodge. That was a powerful Orchid reveal. You wanted a big core target off that. Didn't get it if you're no one. Now you're going to have to re-engage off a smoke. Still would like to find the Morphling or the Omni Knight. If they're together, you have to take the Omni Knight, but it is a nice opening into the fight. That was a little close.
Hook shot. The SF gonna be the target here. The Stampede cannot get him out in time. Ollie. Split focus, right? He's sitting on the Morphling, which leaves the SF available for the go. That's why no one TP'd away from that situation in the first place. They saw 23 Savages farming up Ancients. They saw that the Omni Knight was with him, so that leaves the SF the perfect target to go for.
Very heads-up play. And this is kind of the part of the game where Ollie's... It's just going to feel rough for him around the map because you can't babysit everybody here. And you don't even feel good babysitting someone because you're just getting nothing off the map. Tough spot for him. Ideally, you'd want to just group up right now if you're Aurora, so you don't lead some pickoffs to this gate, and you can start to use your lineup for what it's good at, which is just objective taking with the 5-man ball.
Yeah.
But the lanes are just getting shoved into you. So you keep having to respond to this Tinker pressure, you keep having to respond to this Storm who's poking you with power runes. Rocket Flares are scouting you a bit. You don't have this SF BKB. That is mech done for the Tinker. He has officially overtaken this offlane Centaur.
So as much as Aurora love a slower game, and they've got two carries that are enjoying it, the whole of Cloud9 are still being more efficient around the map, and they are getting a net worth lead mostly off of their 4 position, Kataomi Tinker, who is currently sitting, backing Cloud9's push on this offlane tier 1 tower between March of the Machines, barriers all over the place, and a mech. This is not a fight that Aurora could possibly take, and they seem to know that. They are not even close to that area of the map. They are just trying to farm up wherever they can elsewhere.
By the way, that Tinker is the highest level on their team.
Damn.
Just want to throw that out there. Like, level 12 and a half. I mean, that is the power of, I guess, an empty bottom lane in Ancients.
That's what I was saying. It's like the slow game early on, it may favor Aurora if the game continued to be slow for like another 20 minutes, but early on, I feel like it's really not that bad for Cloud9.
Oh no, this is prime Tinker gameplay. You might not like it, but this is what peak 4 position gameplay looks like.
That's right.
I farm Ancients for 15 minutes, and I buy 3 sustain items. What are you gonna do about it?
What, you thought these Ancient stacks were for you? No. Not for my carry, Tinker, not for my mid, it's for me.
At least Tinker has to, you know, hit the big skill shots later on, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
the warp flares and the lasers and, you know, hit these really difficult spells. In the
he definitely doesn't just sit there and spam March of the Machines and barrier over and over and over again.
Found the Omni Knight.
Yep, good kill. 23 Savage cannot protect his support.
Well, Ollie will trade his life for an Observe reward.
23 Savage says that's a fair trade.
Regen Rune's gonna get no one straight back up to full here, so they can keep looking for plays. Ooh. Miss out on that one. Just more passivity from Aurora. Like, they have the Bad Blink. They're closing in on the SFBKB. Maybe that's the big item here.
First
hook shot accuracy, a bit more accurate than the Mirana arrows from last game. I mean, something's got to happen here for Aurora. I do not think this type of just farm trading is going to work out for them in the long run. It's hard to imagine it does. Especially if Storm just gets the free BKB here, like, he's a god in the fight. Basically untouchable. You have to lasso him and burst him with physical in the lasso through all the Tinker heal. I just don't see that happening.
I would love to see a stat where it's like average number of kills in the first 30 minutes of the game. Because undoubtedly Aurora has to be at the bottom there.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's them for sure.
2 kills in 20 minutes. This is a standard Aurora game, I feel like. A little bit of reveal there from the Rocket Flare. Again, the Fishman's playing a support that gets information on Aurora, which is maybe part of the reason of the passivity. It's very hard to make moves.
Yep.
But as that Rocket Flare gets used, they smoke up as a 4-man here. 23 Savage is going to show on the wave mid while the other 4 make a move and catch Fishman. Cogs locks him in, makes it a little awkward, can't actually pull the Clockwork back to his team, and the Clockwork's going to go back in with a gate coming in from the other side. Lornoff does have BKB. Cloud9 jumped in and jumped out. A gate that came in from behind, and he does actually go through it. Hits him with the big pit on 4, then backs away. Cloud9 did a great job of poking at Aurora there. Got the BKB out of Lornoff without committing too much. All they lost was the Fishman Clockwork. Nothing too bad.
That was such an awkward fight. I mean, it's the last hero you want to find with this 5-man smoke.
Yeah.
Probably the last player you want to find, too.
True.
You 5-man smoke for Fishman, you don't even kill him, and then he goes back in. It's just like... it's a morale loss or something. I also like he went back in there, you know?
Oh, yeah. It was a bold move.
That's the Fishman way, you know? Oh, you think you didn't get me? No. You will get me in the end.
You will kill me.
If your gank's not successful, I will make it successful.
And you're going to feel bad about it.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
It's like every time you kill Fishman, he makes you feel bad about it.
I mean, they got the SFBKB. Like, I don't think Lornoff's happy about this gank, you know? We'll get a Tormentor here out of the Morphling. Fairly efficient. 23 Savage still pretty farm. There's some okay heroes to steal in this game. This is a scary late game carry. You're going to have a lot to fight through. These auras are stacking up. You get this pipe on the Underlord. The Greaves is already done on the Tinker.
It's a really nice shard that they got. The Omni-Knight shard, the purification, like the double purification. They did nerf it recently because it was too strong. From 75% to 65%. But
some decent value. Though, honestly, I feel like you want to see this bat keeping up with the Tinker. I know you probably can't do it 1-to-1, but that would probably make Aurora feel a little better if Q could get out on like deeper parts of the map and kind of match some of that farm.
I mean, I think Aurora would feel better if the Centaur was able to keep up with the Tinker at this point, but...
I mean, what can you do? You've just had less map space to work with. Cloud9 have controlled. The power runes are constantly pushing in mid. Tinker's constantly pushing in all these random lanes that are not where Cloud9 want to go in group. Like right now, he's pushing out top as Cloud9 group bottom for Roche. So you're maintaining your map control, constantly pushing the waves in, and then he can join all these moves. That's the power of the hero.
Yeah, it really does feel like deja vu from game 1, where it's like Cloud9 very early took more map control, and then use that, like, you know, they hold 60–65% of the map, and then they use that to be able to outfarm you for these longer droughts between action. They're once again going to be able to take very early Tormentor into very early Roshan. It's like the exact same timings.
Yep. We'll give it to no one here. They're aggressive fight starter. Don't need it on the BKB Windrun Windranger, who in theory shouldn't die in the fight. It would take a lot to bring him down at the start. Do have your Blink Shadow Fiend. I mean, if you can land like a good hoof stomp, you don't have that Kaya super speed, but
yeah,
could still get some combo action.
It does feel like this time around Aurora should be able to fight earlier and more often than they did in the mid game of game 1.
Okay, well but that's irrelevant.
What?
I mean, saying Aurora should be able to fight earlier. That doesn't matter.
I think they're going to.
Will they fight
they're
early?
Smoking up. They're going for it.
I can't wait till this lands. Another 5-man smoke on Fishman.
Fishman, where are you? There's a smoke for you to tank.
I mean, Cloud9 feel like they know this is coming.
Yeah, they're pretty grouped up, pre-barriered.
Yeah, that is not a target you can jump status resist.
I've never seen a more defensive smoke.
Oh, this feels so bad right now, right?
They smoke back to their triangle.
The problem is every time you make one of these plays, it's everybody, your lane just becomes worse. The Tinker gets more off the map.
I just can't believe if they didn't want to go on mid, that they didn't like push up into the enemy jungle and see if they could catch somebody on like the tier 2 area or the sides of the map. They just straight up saw like 2 cores mid and said, nah.
This Warp Flare is, it's coming soon. He already has Aether Lens. You got to remember, this thing can just perma-root heroes.
Yeah.
It's going to make the Morphling so sad in the fight.
We saw the anti-synergy in the series yesterday where they had Batrider and Tinker on the same team.
Yeah,
and the Warp Flare killed the Lasso. But here, you could actually kill the... I'm not sure if it works, but you could kill the enemy Lasso, maybe. Warp Flare. No one is trying to make use of this Aegis. Unfortunately, Aurora playing so grouped up and so defensively that they have caught a Centaur underneath a tier 2. That's just not a good target to go for. With a Pipe, Blade Mail, and Vanguard working towards a Crimson. And an Omni Knight behind him, there's just no way you're gonna really force this, so. Chilling out for now.
This has got to be one of the weirder Aegis periods I've ever seen.
I would say another difference between game 1 and this game is also the fact that Aurora feel a lot better going late game, right? I think, just because difference between Wind Ranger and Luna, they also have like SF and Morphling scaling up. Like I feel like the pressure is on Cloud9 to be more active than they were.
Yeah.
Tempted go on to 23 Savage with the Orchid. Not going to be good enough initially, but with the follow-up there, Shackle Shot, Hook Shot, Cox pushing him backwards. Rod of Atos holding him in, then a pit. It is disable after disable after disable that will finally bring down the Morphling.
Just infinite root ability. Need the BKB on the Morph to even play this game at this point. And that's a big pickoff. You'd say you're happier going late here if you're Aurora, but not if you bleed out a net worth lead on this map. You've kept it pretty close so far. I will also say this Wind Ranger in the late game it's no joke. Like we saw what this hero could do yesterday, particularly in that game and series. You just get to this Daedalus Ags late game, you run in, BKB Whirlwind, everybody's getting crit down. It's nasty.
Yep.
You have some Guardian Angel to play with and some stuff, but you don't have the big Aura Fire really, so it's going to be annoying.
Maybe the Crimson Guard's going to be pretty effective from
I
the
guess you have Centaur.
Yeah, he's going to give you a lot of damage block with his no boots, all strength build.
This is a good Crimson carrier, so you have that to fall back on. I mean, I almost forgot the Centaur was in this game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't know if he's had a lot to do.
I mean, this is a game that you probably could have taken a 20-minute nap and woken up for the conclusion at 45 minutes to see what happens.
Amp Damage Room, though.
Oh, are they going to do anything with that?
The Crimson's done.
Of course they're not.
Hey, don't rule them out right now. Never know.
Like 23 Savage is already moving away from his team.
Aegis going to run out here.
28 minutes, Aegis running out, Amp Damage Room. If they have a smoke, I feel like this is definitely a time to use it. But,
yeah, but how do you... Like, you don't have a vision mechanism. You just have to smoke into them and jump somebody with Bat. I feel like it's been the problem the whole game. Like, that play is not that simple.
Isn't it? I feel like you know Cloud9 are spread around the map, and there's always somebody farming the top part of the map. You know? Maybe it's not, you know, the target you actually want to go for, but it's somebody.
Tinker just makes the map difficult to play. Makes the jumps hard, too. I mean, you got to be looking for it, but...
Yeah, that's fair enough.
The map
all your lanes are pushed in constantly. They do not have the best wave clear on the side of Aurora, nor the best mobility to push the lane and then quickly get to some other part of the map. So instead, accept the waves that are pushing into you. Accept the mana from heaven. Continue to build up gold. Cloud9 are obviously not shy about doing the same, because they are getting the better exchange of it when it comes to net worth.
I mean, if you get this Morphling BKB in time for Roche, Daedalus is done for the Wind Ranger. Both these carries are kind of hitting a nice little peak here for both teams. I think neither is going to want to give up this next Roshan. It's going to determine a lot in this game.
Well, I didn't think Aurora wanted to give up second Roshan in the last game with their BKB timings, but they did.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that one. I don't know if they know.
So we went back to Yashikaya on the SF. So we are still looking with this Requiem build. It's just started off with a Draglance.
Okay, here's the play you were asking for. The smoke to top.
Will it be good? Will it be good to smoke into an Underlord next to a tier 2 tower? Is Cloud9 going to rotate back to it? No, because they found something else. They were also making an aggressive move. They ran into the Centaur. And Jabs is going to be able to get off his full swing of spells. He may still be dead, but his team is coming into it. Fisherman really goes and hits the hook shot onto the Omni Knight. A Requiem goes out, but most of the Cloud9 heroes have already popped their BKBs and backed away, and they're trying to get 23 Savage. Big burst of damage, though, brings down no one. They do manage to hit a Shackle. Ooh, that finished them off. A big crit from Watson nails him right as 23 Savage is looking to waveform away, and another root comes out. The SF, we talked about it, once the BKBs are down, there is seemingly infinite number of disables. A Shackle shot that lands. Can anybody stop Watson? No. He just mows down hero after hero after hero.
Watson, God, he just absolutely took this fight over. I'm not even sure if that crit went through the wind run, because 23 Savage
damage.
He had stolen wind run there, and he got shackled down. I think it was running out right at the end. But that is a timely crit, a timely set of disables from Watson. I think every shackle landed that fight. He's still looking for more. I mean, this might be a little too much here.
Yeah, he doesn't have Whirlwind yet.
Look at the poke. It's Wind Ranger, man. Once you have this Daedalus, you are just disgusting in the fight.
Yeah, the Omni Knight, I think, they mass TP'd into that fight, and he did have his ultimate up, but he just got hook shot so quickly. Shout out to Fishman for recognizing that play. Omni Knight comes in, boom, instantly hook shot, no chance for Guardian Angel. That was huge. For any purification saves, that would have made a world of difference.
See, 23 Savage, he pops Windrun here. I feel like this crit just went, I don't even know, like, it just timed out or what. And the Warp Flares, I mean, they're going to start to add up if this Tinker's still alive towards the end of the fight, too. Yeah. Cannot sleep on it.
Lornoff not doing the best positioning there. Really set himself up for the shackle at the end.
That didn't help him, but...
Got off the repel, Ollie. He has got to be really quick on the fingers, as you could see from what happened in that last team fight. There were multiple jumps by, no one to try and get this Omni Knight. He is going to be hunted down constantly. And he's done, honestly, a pretty good job of reacting, especially to no one's aggression.
Not an easy game for this Omni Knight. He has very little time in the fights to make very important decisions on who his spells go out on and where his positioning is. Maybe the most important thing for Aurora. Can this Omni Knight stay alive, and does he get his spells off at the right time on the right person? It's a lot to ask for in a game where there's a lot of backline jump and like a Whirlwind Wind Ranger going through and a lot of nonsense. So be the Roche contesting smoke, try and push out on the map, find something, get some vision out.
Yeah, they had some very deep vision from the side of Cloud9. One really deep on the mid lane, and this bottom ward is still up. So Aurora make the right call of smoking from within their own base. And Q, his smoke breaks, but he doesn't get the jump. He blinks after no one, but no one is already, and you blew it. You blew your one opportunity as Aurora to maybe get yourself a free Roshan. I mean, if you get the lasso on this Storm Spirit.
Okay, but here's the question. If this Roche spawns, do you just start doing it with this Vlad's Morphling?
Sure.
With your BKBs, you can position the Omni Knight really far in the back. Like, you make the Tinker go into you. Unfortunately, it is not going to spawn, so this decision is irrelevant as Cloud9 are just going to force the fight. But you have high ground positioning here. If you can protect your Omni Knight, this is like the type of setup that could work for Aurora. Yeah, they're going to do it. I think this is the correct decision, but you have to be fast on the clicking. You have to pop your BKBs at the fight if the fight comes to you, and you have to think about the hook shot, contesting Roshan.
The gate, right next to the pits. They're about to finish up the Roshan. Can they get there in time? No one. Hook shot goes out, but he grabbed the Aegis. 23 Savage. Now it's an opportunity to win the fight with 2 lives. Lornoff already hitting the big Requiem. Watson's dicing him up, though. This Whirlwind is kicking in. The SF inside of the pit. Heels coming out. Ollie in the corner trying to save Lornoff's life, and he does it. He gets the SF out of there. Jabs is still stuck though, as is the supports. Ollie has been left behind by his cores. 23 Savage is still around. Not sure where he went to, but it looks like he is angling for DM. That's not gonna happen. Too many disables and he's gonna lose his first life. And on his second life, is there anything he can do about it? No one's around to be able to help him out. Well, no one himself. The Storm Spirit is gonna go for it. Nice shackle shot. Ollie is here on the side, but if he shows himself, he's dead, and it probably wouldn't save 23 Savage anyway.
Not enough gas in the tank to tank the second half of that fight with the Storm Spirit buyback. And Watson still standing strong. No one's contesting this Wind Ranger. Huge problem for Aurora, despite the fact they managed to snatch the Aegis out of that hook shot. It's the only thing that really went right for them there. Plus that Requiem, I mean, it did delete the Storm instantly. But you have this Tinker just doing so much work. Hex was completed before that fight, and Katayomi just lives throughout the entire thing. Plus Watson going in here. It's just so much damage adding up. He has another Whirlwind on the second half of this. Surprised Lorinov got out of there. Didn't look too bad at this point, but when your Centaur and Bat are gone from the fight, no one coming in the second time, you don't have any control left. Like, this Warfleet just gets permanently rooted, can't hit anything, doesn't have BKB. You're useless.
Yeah, and they also, like, they used the Requiem on top of DM. It did hardly any damage because he's a pipe carrier and super tanky. And then 23 Savage also tried to put damage on the Overlord. Didn't work. Obviously, his damage being cut down quite heavily by the Atrophy Aura. So, this combination of just a disgusting amount of sustain, barrier after barrier after barrier. Defense matrix on all of these heroes from the side of Cloud9. You've got pipes going around, you've got heals, you've got Greaves, he's got the individual heal of the Holy Locket as well, and he's got a Scythe of Vice. Get the grab on the Wind Ranger, try and blow him up with the Requiem. Is it all gonna be enough? So much commitment, but Watson is fine. He went down to about half HP and has about 2,000 HP and barriers left, and now he pushes forward, pops his Whirlwind, pops his Satanic, heals himself back up to full, and you have blown your initiation as Aurora. You don't really get a second chance now.
On cooldown for a minute here. You know, right before that fight started, I was about to say, you have to find this Tinker. They did not find the Tinker.
No.
And you can't kill anybody. You don't find this guy. This is what makes this hero broken on a certain level. It's find Tinker or bust, and this hero's very difficult to find at this point.
In the trees, defense matrix for everybody, a little bit of Solar Crest action. I mean, Aurora, if you want to take this fight, it feels like you have to be able to smoke wraparound or something. I mean, you said the Bat Rider has got to be hunting his counterpart in the Tinker, and I'm not sure if we've seen that interaction once.
You just have no dispel for all these barriers and everything going out. Like, you don't really have a Hex of your own. So even if you're pulling Watson into Requiem, there's just not a lot of long-term control there. And Tinker's just going to keep throwing out these barrier shields. He's going to keep healing you with Greaves, Locket, Matrix. Someone's getting warp flared.
The MKB would go a long ways if he could get it. But he's spotted right as he's about to complete it on the hard camp. He just needed a little bit more farm to complete the MKB. Gets caught in the act with 2 lanes of barracks already down. No buyback available. It is inevitable at this point that Cloud9 will get Megas.
You had one team fight left in you, and that might have just been it.
Q, he's gonna go for it. Look at the damage. It's nothing. Not a damn thing they can do to Watson with so much effective HP put on this guy. No 23 Savage, no carry to actually get you there. And that will be a 2-0 for Cloud9. I mean,